South Africa pays their educated unemployed citizens 370 rands, while Ghana youths are still feeling the heat of the global war. Welcome to Solid Finance Podcast and it's Finance with Abbas. On today's episode, we'll be looking at how the war in the Middle East is affecting Ghana and South Africa, the unemployment issues in these two countries, and how their tax systems are. Stay tuned as you'll be learning a thing or two from this channel. Before I continue, do well to like, do well to share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more finance content from us. Imagine waking up in Accra. You have a degree, you have a clean suit, but 0 cedis in your pocket. You walk 5 kilometers to a job interview because you can't afford the price of fuel in their country. That is very painful. But on the other hand, in South Africa, there's a grant given by the government that pays educated unemployed youths and also advanced aged people for just staying at home. It is called the SRD grant and the SASA grant. It's not much, but to Ghanaians, it's like heaven on earth. Coupled with the fact that educated unemployed citizens of South Africa are being paid 370 rands, they are asking for a raise. Let's watch this video together.
And we're calling upon the ANC-led government to increase and introduce an unemployment grant. We're saying while young people are still looking for opportunities, there must be a grant that is provided for them to be able to move around and look for those opportunities. We're saying while we're still looking for solutions, the 350 must be increased to 1.5 until all of those issues are resolved. Unemployed graduate must be paid 4.5 a month. The youth looking for other opportunities must be paid 1.5 a month until the matter of employment is resolved.
I'd like us to take some comments. This person here says, where would that money be coming from? The other one says, Habana, yo, let him force it out of his pocket. I'm sorry, with the rate we are going, we can only dream. Vibe says, print more money. Robert says, South Africa government is lying to us again. That will never happen. The other one says they are promoting unemployment with that kind of money. It is more than the SASA old age grant. While some Ghanaians are still envying the South African youths, South Africans are screaming sabotage on their government, saying that they are giving them the economic crumbles and they don't want it. I would like us to compare the new tax reform in Ghana to that of South Africa.
The tax regime has undergone a reform. If you are a business in Ghana, know that the VAT effective rate has dropped from 21.9% to 20%. Also, the VAT threshold has changed from 200,000 to 750,000. According to the minister, it is to allow small businesses the chance to grow. So it has increased the threshold, meaning until you are making annual turnover of 750,000, you are not required to charge back. This is going to help you grow faster and without stress. So take note of these reforms. From next year, your VAT is dropping from 21.9% to 20%. And the threshold for charging back is also increasing from 200,000 to 750,000. So if you're a small business just starting out, you don't worry yourself with the extra cost that VAT brings into your daily processes and your business. So take advantage of this information.
I'd like us to take some comments. It says, why the Ghana tax system not taught in schools, especially primary and secondary level? The other one says, so that means the core VAT and the 3 non-deductible levies will change as well, right? So does this mean the maximum slash for flat rate taxpayers too has increased to 750,000 as compared to the 500,000 currently? Wally Falcon says, please, when is the effective date? And also, Does it mean that businesses that do not meet the new threshold but met the old one should not deregister? The last one here says, what if your annual turnover is less than 200,000? What if your client requires VAT invoices from you? I would like the economists from Ghana to answer those questions. Let's look at that of South Africa.
Do you know that in South Africa, the rich will almost always pay less tax than employees or those that are employed? And the latest budget debate just confirmed that reality. According to National Treasury, government has rejected calls for new wealth tax, arguing that South Africa already has one of the most progressive tax systems in the world. National Treasury officials told Parliament that wealth is already taxed through personal income tax, capital gains tax, and estate duty. They believe that introducing separate wealth tax could hurt economic growth and investment in South Africa. But here is a deeper reality that many politicians won't tell you during their election campaigns. They promise the poor and the middle class that they will tax the rich more once you vote them into power. In reality, the rich and the royals use the power of corporations, trust, and investment structures to legally manage and reduce their tax exposure. Why? Because wealthy people spend first and pay tax later, while employees, on the other hand, are taxed before they even receive their salary through pay-as-you-earn. So, as an employee, your options are limited. Government already deducts tax directly from your income before it even reaches your bank account. Meanwhile, business owners and investors structure their income through companies, assets, and investment, which gives them more flexibility to legally reduce tax liability.
I'd like us to look at the comments. One here says, the last piece of advice is excellent. If the rich will be taxed more, it will be pointless to be rich. Income tax table clearly shows that more income, the more ridiculous the tax obligation. I feel the poor and the average in this country are scapegoated with all the taxes like VAT levies, etc., then extraordinary increases like electricity, but compensation remains low-living people to live hand to mouth, and worse, observing all the men-cost politics and political decisions, which all benefit politicians and the rich. No, my comments is scattered, but just my understanding. Okay, that's when it says, the system of being an employee is just a weapon formed against us in this country. The poor can dictate to the rich. Money talks, money moves, decision makers. Looking at those two countries and the problems they have in their country with their tax system, which one do you think you can go to and then you still have enough money to send back home? Choose wisely. Now, today's video isn't just about comparison. It's about survival at the edge. People who are complaining about the increase in fuel, increase in food, increase in everything, before you complain, look at 4,000 miles away. The Middle East, they are on fire. They're the reason why everybody is feeling the heat at the moment as the conflict escalates in 2026. Now, Ghana has their own crude oil, but the global price of imported refined petroleum has gone up to $120, and as such is going to skyrocket the price of everything in your locality. Ghanaian youths are furious as they pay the price at the Trotro station. Let's watch this video.
The NPP has no moral right to talk about punishment in this case. Crude oil prices globally has gone up. It will affect every facet of our daily lives. The new sales taxes that these people brought, the NPP brought, and Ghanaians did not complain. They didn't die at that time. It is the one cedi on a fuel tax to keep us going to the pumps and getting fuel. That is what is their problem, and they think that is what is going to affect Ghanaians. No, that is not what is going to affect Ghanaians. Don't come condemning things that are making this country move forward. It's just one cedi on a liter of fuel. The cedi is stronger today. So let us at least acknowledge the fact that our economy is being strengthened. And let us also look elsewhere for problems that are coming, but not play fuel politics, something that a country has no control over. Globally, everybody knows that fuel is going to go up. Americans have increased fuel, the British have increased it, other countries have increased it. So why will Ghana be different? And if you go, look, even if you go out there and talk to a semi-illiterate, the person will know that, yes, Fango no fiba no, by all means, prices will go up. This is not something for them to come and tell us. Ghanaians all know, and Ghanaians are ready to bite that bullet of one cedi. They can decide to think otherwise. But the ordinary Ghanaian that they are talking for is saying everywhere prices are going up.
I'd like us to take some comments. The person says, see who is talking. The other one says, when did you know global crisis affects Ghana? The other one says, Aboa, when did international prices start affecting us? Old Papa says, see who is speaking. Alhaji says, so when it's reduced, for that you didn't tell us that globally it has been reduced, but for the increase you are telling us. The other one says, God have mercy on this woman. God's favor say, see this woman. Ghanaians are furious about this. Ghanaians are angry about this fuel increase in their countries. Let's see how South Africans are taking this.
That the South African economy is showing signs of recovery, but the war in the Middle East could slow that down. According to the recent report by Standard Bank Group, South Africa is entering the strongest economic phase in nearly 10 years. The bank reported 16% profit increase in its South African operations, showing that reforms in electricity supply and logistics are starting to work. Kudos to Eskom and Transnet. Even the CEO, Sim Chabalala, confidently said, South Africa is back. But here's the challenge. The ongoing conflict in the Middle East is pushing global oil prices higher. And South Africa, that matters a lot because we import most of our fuel, which means higher petrol price, higher transport cost, and rising inflation. Higher fuel prices can push up food cost and interest rates, which puts a lot of pressure on households and small businesses. The good news is that South Africa could benefit from higher global prices for metals and energy exports, which might help balance the pressure to some extent.
I'd like us to take some comments from the comment section. So Africans are saying, with or without the war, the government always increase main stuff a lot, like electricity. Ghana's anger isn't about the global war. Their anger is about the 1 cedi fuel levy. The government are calling it revenue mobilization, while the youths are calling it extortion. In a country where every cedi counts, they have successfully turned the pump sites into a place for protests. This isn't just tax. This is extra weight on the neck of entrepreneurs in Kumasi and in Accra. Let's watch this video.
The cedi is no longer absorbing anything. According to projections by the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, petrol prices could rise by as much as 16.92% and diesel by 17.2% in the coming pricing window of March 2026 alone, driven by a sharp surge in crude oil prices from approximately $71.41 per barrel to over $100 per barrel in mid-March, amid the war involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. Diesel was selling at 15.60 per liter, and petrol had exceeded 12.40 per liter. The Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act of 2025 officially added approximately 1 Ghana cedi to the price build-up, bringing the total energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy to 1.95 Ghana cedi for petrol and 1.93 Ghana cedi for diesel. If the guarantee has been restored, and if the cedi is no longer shielding consumers from levies impacts, then the justification for the 1 Ghana cedi doomsday levy has completely evaporated. Keeping it is not policy, it is punishment. We call on government to immediately amend the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025 under a certificate of urgency to repeal the 1 Ghana cedi doomsday levy forthwith. Additionally, we call on government to direct a comprehensive review of all taxes and levies embedded in the petroleum price build-up and to intensify those that can be suspended or restricted to cushion consumers from the full weights of the current global oil price shock.
The Ghanaians are saying that the extra 1 Ghana cedi that they're adding for the 4 levies should be abolished, as that is going to affect the minorities. Most Ghanaians are like, yeah, go japa. The fees for you to be able to leave the country has quietly climbed up, making the japa dreams to become japa nightmares. Social relief distress grant received by South Africans might seem like a lifeline dream to other African countries, but if you go down to Soweto and ask a local how he or she is doing, you would understand that that is just a government trap. Let's watch this video.
There's a statistic that the ANC always like to celebrate, that so many people are receiving social grants in South Africa.
I couldn't believe it when
That's not
Ramaphosa
something
was
to
celebrating
celebrate,
that.
That's not a figure you should trumpet as something to celebrate, because it reflects your inability to create jobs. It reflects your inability to create industries. So it's nothing to celebrate, but we must understand the context in which it exists in. It's a necessity, but it's also a form of creating dependency by the ANC government. And what they do is that they threaten people that those grants will be taken away if you don't vote for them, specifically in rural and township areas. So you can see that it's deliberate dependency being created. So for them, it's not a transitionary thing. It's something that is going to be there permanently. And that is proven by their lack of interest to create jobs and industrialize South African society.
I think the number might be 29 million, if not 20 million.
It's too high. And a lot of young people, I mean, even after COVID, during COVID, they created this COVID grant that's still going on till today.
Social relief for distress.
Social relief for distress grant. So there's a pool of young people that will never pursue jobs because they've been pulled into this cycle of dependency onto social grants.
I'd like us to look at some comments. Say 60 million citizens, 29 million grants, and 4.7 million taxpayers. We are in deep trouble. PR6 says, this is very intelligent. EFF have a lot of guys who are smart. Wow, the EFF needs to be given a chance. They are ready. TV04 says, it is a form of creating dependency. This will push them to get votes from these grant receivers. They will keep our people in poverty until they die. It's not about ANC moving people. Spendable says, you are wrong, because the ANC wants people to depend on grants than creating jobs. As much as this grant is helping, it is also creating a dependency of their youths on the government, meaning that whatever the government says is what the helpless want to do, just so that they can benefit from the grants. Now, this grant is only going to give you what to eat. It wouldn't help you to set up a business. It will only help you feed from hand to mouth. That was not the initial plan. The plan was you go to school, you come back, and you work. Let's see this video.
To work. We're not educated to start up stuff. So the fact that you finished school as a chemical engineer, all you knew how to do was to write a CV. I hereby look for a job as a what? You never thought that as a chemical engineer, you could go back to the village, find out some active ingredients in Mhlonyana, and come up with your own thing for flu and what, package it, sell. You are an engineer, for crying out loud. You should be able to convert purple juice into proper juice and put it on the shelves. You should be able to start using your chemical engineering knowledge in creating brands. No, instead, how beautiful is your CV? I work under pressure. I'm a team player. I have good attitude and etc. So the whole country of graduates was walking the streets looking for employment, and employment was saturated. So people ended up leaving the country to come to other countries. I was in Britain myself. I was in the US. I was here in South Africa. So that's group one. Group two are what I might call political refugees, who in any event quarreled with the government in whatever way, in oppositions, pro or against, factions and etc. within the party. And then they'd run for their own lives for whatever reason that could be. So you'll find that when they are outside here, I want to tell the Zimbabwean community, it is beautiful back home. If you came here as an asylum and you know that you're not an asylum seeker, correct that. Go back home.
I'd like us to take some comments. Someone says, we were educated to work. We were not educated to start stuff. How beautiful is your CV? I work under pressure. For your information, chemical engineer is not the same as chemistry. Electrical engineering is not the same as an electrician course. After what you just said, that's why you heard. Guess the system thought to look for mistake than the message. Nick says, you can think of ideas to start up staff education. Open up your minds and open up for opportunities to better up yourselves. Don't give up on studies. Get that PhD. Having heard that, you will see that this man is only trying to motivate. Don't keep waiting for grants. Don't keep staying in other countries to build and then suffer black tax. You need to be 10 steps ahead. South Africans are not only unemployed, but they are being squeezed to keep quiet by receiving grants. All the Ghanaians are fighting over the 1 cedi levy. The South Africans are struggling high tax payments in their country. If you made it abroad, congratulations, you've japped well, you've escaped the 1 cedi levy, you've escaped the fuel hikes, you've escaped the job queues, you've escaped the government and economic pressure. But you need to look out for black tax. For those of you who don't know what a black tax is, it's basically home problems. That is, I'm abroad hustling. Now, all the money I make is being drained from me by those who are at home. This doesn't give that person who migrated to another country to search for greener pastures the breathing space to even plan or to even save and invest. Ghana has 5 major airlines and they serve internationally. They also have 3 major deep sea ports. South Africa has 5 major airlines and they also have 6 major deep sea ports. But the 2 top seaports in South Africa that generates more revenue for them is the Port of Durban and Port of Nkura, popularly known as Port of Kuega. That is basically all you need to know about South Africa and Ghana. Whether it is the 1 cedi levy or the 370 grants, you need to know that they are just policies. The big question is, who will still be standing when the dust settles by the end of the year? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Solid Finance Podcast, for more finance contents from us. Until next time, bye for now.